people playing church. Oh, you gotta get your life right. Get your life right. Get your house in order, because one day he's coming back soon. There is no secret. There is no secret what God can do. Cause what he done for what he's done for others. Yeah. God, we see I know. We'll see through. He got to see us through. Can I get a witness in it tonight? Somebody and say, be real. Be real. I wish I had a witness here that know that you gotta be real. Be real. You gotta trust in the Lord. Lean not to your own understanding, but acknowledge him in all thy ways. So you gotta be real. Was a Cardi? Can you help me tell them? Gotta be real. Gotta be real. Yes, every day of my life. What you trying to do, brother? I'm trying. I'm trying. If you're good like me, say yeah. Say you're good. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. This place. Hallelujah. And just know that God is getting ready to see you through it. The battle don't belong to you. Leave it in God's hand. Thank you. Jesus. Jesus.
Well, y'all, there's a little song that my grandmother taught me a long time ago. One day I was sick and I wasn't feeling too good. But she said, son, come on down to the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Jesus, he is my doctor. And he right up on my prescription. And he gave me all of my medicine. Come on, it's in the room. Listen here, y'all. I don't know if you've ever been in the room before, but whatever you need is in the room. It's in the room. All you got to do is come on down. Come on in the room. Jesus, is my doctor. Come on in the room.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Nina Taylor, and here is your gospel news. A movie was made about the devastating Flint, Michigan water crisis before the residents had clean and safe water available to them. Nevertheless, Lifetime's new film, entitled Flint, is based on Josh Sanborn's February 2016 cover story for Time magazine. It's called The Poisoning of an American City. It's soon to be released on the Lifetime network. The drinking water in Flint, Michigan was contaminated, resulting in a slew of devastating medical problems for the families. Hopefully, the Lifetime television network will make plans to help the victims of the water crisis in Flint, Michigan financially. Artist Gene Moore, a Houston, Texas-based contemporary gospel singer, Gene Moore is the son of two pastors. He grew up surrounded by music and church, singing in the Southeast Inspirational Choir as a teenager. Moore intended to pursue a career in broadcasting, but began to drift back to gospel music in his early 20s. He worked as a youth pastor and praise and worship leader, eventually signing with Motown Gospel in October of 2013. He worked as a supporting vocalist on stage and in the studio while assembling material for his debut project, New Direction. After being laid off from his job at a chemical plant, Jarrell Gray formed a choir in 1994. His mission was to bring more youth into the church and giving young singers ages 16 through 25 the opportunity to use their talents for the glory of the Lord, thus giving them an alternative to the distractions of the streets, which can be alluring. Looking around his hometown of Chicago, he saw a lot of talented young Christian musicians, all looking for a way to serve the Lord with their considerable vocal gifts. Here's your GMA Dove Award winners for 2017. Contemporary Gospel Urban Recorded Song of the Year went to Kirk Franklin for My World Needs You. Traditional Gospel Recorded Song of the Year, Change Me by Tamela Mann. Urban Worship Recorded Song of the Year, Joy by Vashawn Mitchell. Rap Hip Hop Album of the Year went to Trip Lee for the album The Waiting Room. Contemporary Gospel Urban Album of the Year, CeCe Winans for Let Them Fall in Love. And finally, Traditional Gospel Album of the Year went to Donnie McClurkin for The Journey Live. Who were the first African-American filmmakers? Oscar McCoe was an African-American filmmaker whose movies were a challenge to racial segregation and an alternative outlet for black moviegoers. He is thought to have written, produced, and directed more than 40 films from 1919 to 1948. Oscar McCoe was born in Metropolis, Illinois, January 2nd, 1884. He moved to Chicago at the age of 17 and worked as a porter before moving to South Dakota to farm and write. McCoe's experiences served as the subject matter for his novel, The Homesteader. In 1919, he produced a big screen version of the novel, which was the first full-length feature produced by an African-American filmmaker. McCoe continued to make films for the next 3 decades until his death on March 25, 1951 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Spencer Williams was a brilliant director, born January 14, 1893, was an American actor and filmmaker. He was best known for playing Andy on the TV show The Amos and Andy Show and for directing the 1941 race film The Blood of Jesus. Cassie Lemons was born February 24, 1961, an African-American film director and actress. Her most notable work are the films Eve's Bayou, The Caveman Valentine, and Talk to Me. Julie Dash, born October 22, 1952. After writing and directing several short films, her 1991 feature Daughters of the Dust became the first full-length film directed by an African-American woman, Spike Lee, whose real name is Shelton Jackson Lee, born March 20th, 1957 in Atlanta. He's been making films since the age of 20. Ava Marie DuVernay, born August 24th, 1972, is an American director, screenwriter, film marketer, and film distributor. At the 2012 Sundance Film Festival, DuVernay won the Best Director prize for her second film, Middle of Nowhere, becoming the first African-American woman to win the award. For her work in Selma 2014, DuVernay was the first black female director nominated for a Golden Globe Award. She was also the first African-American female director to have been nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture. Well, that's your gospel news for this week. I'm Nina Taylor. Let's get back to more great gospel music on this great station.
You're listening to UGA Gospel Storm Midnight Love Garden with Miss Coco Bowden right here on iHeartRadio.